Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today as we're taking a day to reflect on the life of Scott Hall. I was just sort of going over in my mind, what the biggest matches of Scott Hall's career is, and I think easily the one match that most people can remember him for is WrestleMania 10, the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. In my mind, the way I remember it, that was kind of like the first, I want to call it like hardcore match that I had ever seen. Of course, everybody knows the first WWF ladder match was Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship. It was a match that was taken from Stampede Wrestling. Bret Hart had pitched the idea to Vince McMahon, but he had sort of told Vince, like, hey, if you do one of these matches, you got to do it with me because I know I can make it memorable. They did the match at a TV tapings. The only way that people could see it was if they went out and either rented or bought the Coliseum home video at the time, Smack 'em Whack 'em. But honestly, at least in my mind, I didn't see that match first. The first ladder match I ever saw, and even when they pitched the idea, I didn't really understand it. They told us they were going to strap the belt above the ring, and the only way that you could win it was to climb the ladder and grab it. In my mind, the first time I saw WrestleMania 10, I honestly thought they were just going to have a normal match. And then after the match, instead of the ref handing him the title, I thought that they were just going to pitch this ladder and he was going to climb up and have to grab it. I had no idea people were going to fight on the ladder, use the ladder as a weapon. It just didn't make sense to me. WrestleMania 10 is known for a couple things. It really has two of the best matches in WrestleMania history. Definitely that time. I didn't know what a 5-star match was from Dave Meltzer, and I can't remember if they even got one, but I think there's Bret and Owen, which kick off the show. They had that because of the storyline they were running, that they were, the brothers fighting because Owen couldn't take Bret's success that he had and didn't understand why everybody wasn't looking at him, that he was the greater heart. And that, there was two guys that were going after the WWF Championship. They had never done a three-way before. So they decided that both guys were going to get a shot at the title, and they kind of did it like a tournament. Bret wasn't going to lose his shot at the championship if he lost, but definitely if he lost, I guess he'd be beaten up and wouldn't be fresh. But Lex Luger, who also won the Royal Rumble, was given a match against Yokozuna. He ended up getting his match first. And of course, after at that time going through a match with Yokozuna, unless Yokozuna just tripped and fell a banana peel inside of the ring, that was not going to be a walk in the park. So they ended up having those two matches for the championship. A lot of people thought that Luger was actually going to walk out with the belt. There's a TV taping where he comes out as a WWF champion. He has the belt around his waist. He's announced as the new WWF champion. They did the tapings before WrestleMania that kind of got out. I've heard stories where, Luger ran his mouth in a bar about being the champion, and Vince didn't like that, so that was the reason why they took it away. Some people say they did it just for, to keep people guessing what was going to happen, just throw off Meltzer. But one way or another, we got Bret versus Owen, which is a really, really good match. And then we got this ladder match, Razor versus Shawn. It ended up not getting 5 stars. It got 4 3/4. I don't know what you can do to make it better, but it's only one guy's opinion, even if it's a very valued member of the wrestling press. maybe he, ran out of pretzels or something like that when he was watching the match, and he took that out on him or something like that. But I can just remember just being so amazed that, you can have a match like this. Normally you saw somebody use a steel chair. Maybe it didn't get a disqualification, but it was definitely cheating behind the referee. But here is the referee actually helping guys with the ladder use it as a weapon. And it didn't really make sense to me at the time. Even though Razor is known for this match, he didn't win it. They ended up going with Shawn Michaels getting the win. This match was so good that they actually reran it at I think it was the SummerSlam the next year for almost the same storyline where Shawn, I can't remember which time is the time he got beaten up at the bar by the Marines, and that's the reason why he had to get stripped of the belt. Then he ends up coming back and just saying like he's the Intercontinental Champion, even though Razor Ramon is walking around and we've seen him for months defending the championship. But that's the one way they can decide who is the real Intercontinental Champion. But one hell of a match. And, Jim Cornette came out and he said that basically Shawn Michaels had the hell of a match and that he had it with a broomstick, basically referring to Scott Hall not really doing anything out there. My young self watching it, I thought Scott put on a hell of a performance out there, and he's still known for it today. Well, it was the WrestleCon where he was doing pictures and autographs. They had the ladder set up where he would climb up, you would climb up, and you would take your picture with the Intercontinental Championship. It was a really cool thing. I don't know why I didn't meet Scott Hall that day. That's probably the one time that I was in the vicinity of him, but I know that I think Ravi and Miguel went to go meet him, and I ended up going somewhere else. I don't know if maybe I just didn't want to pay what he was asking or something like that, and didn't think I would be able to get through the vendor to do the story I talked about the other day, where I still had a ticket that I never got refunded because he didn't come to his show, and he told me that he would honor it. But yeah, still one of my biggest regrets. But Scott Hall, WrestleMania 10 Intercontinental Champion. It's probably one of the most known WrestleMania matches out there. They still love to put that out there. I don't know if WWE's ever came out with an official like top 10, top 25 list are on there, but I don't know what other matches you're definitely going to put up there. I mean, it's definitely kind of like chalk to just throw out top 5, but it's got to be one of the top 5 WrestleMania matches of all time. Even though it was revolutionary at the time, and you see guys now doing things now off the ladders that you don't even seem like it's possible. You watch some of those Money in the Bank ladder matches with Shelton Benjamin. You don't even know how the ladder is able to hold up as he's doing some things. Kalisto, I remember him jumping off the one. I can't remember what year that was, but I still think that first one, well, I said it even in this video, it's the second one, but in most people's mind that weren't, all over the Coliseum home videos at the time or waiting for him to come at Blockbuster, that ladder match was the first time we ever saw something that was like hardcore, almost that you could like say like that ECW was rubbing off on them at the time or something like that. You remember that same night they had the Falls Count Anywhere with Crush and Savage. They didn't do anything really revolutionary, but I guess you got to see some like no holds barred Falls Count Anywhere matches like on house shows. But as far as like a pay-per-view or television, I can't really remember them, fighting through the stands, fighting through the back of the building. Maybe you saw like somebody doing an interview and somebody get jumped from behind and the set falls over. I'm pretty sure that happened on the Snake Pit after, was it on the Snake Pit? No, it was on Piper's Pit, where Piper slammed Snuka with the coconut, and then Snuka selling the coconut went right through the set and it fell over, and you saw like the people behind it like, oh, what do we do? You know, that's the stuff as your kid, you're like, whoa, it's freaking awesome. So we'll see. Razor Ramon, definitely one of the biggest names. People out there talking about his appearance on Jerry Springer, those vignettes that they used to run back in the day, you know, showing his character before he was actually wrestling in matches, getting you used to him is like somebody you wanted to see, or them setting the tone that, like, when you see this guy, you're supposed to hate this guy, and just going like that.